Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everybody's staying safe and staying clean. If you're new here, my name is Bill. If not, thanks for checking back in with me today. So the last video, what we did was we weighed the car, obviously, if you've watched it. And I ran my mouth quite a bit, so I didn't want to make two videos and make them super long, so we're gonna split this up here. So this one, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get the head pulled off, we're gonna port the head, we're gonna get the new turbo kit put on, we're gonna clean up some of the push lock hoses we got because we're moving the fuel pressure regulator over here. So we're gonna clean all the vacuum hoses up here, try and clean some wiring up, get it a little bit more organized. And then, like I said, we're gonna port the head, we're gonna get it all back together. I probably won't get it all done today, but we're gonna see how far I can get. So we're gonna get that YouTube playlist fired up and we're gonna get tearing down. So I got this far and I realized that I didn't unhook the intercooler pipe that goes down the back of the engine. So what I'm gonna do now is I got the wastegate off, I got the oil lines off, I got the clamp off that holds the turbo to the manifold, I got the intercooler coupler loose here. And so what I'm gonna do now is I got the clamp loose already from where the oil drain goes into the block. Because I like to put that on there because it is a real pain in the ass trying to get it to line up and make sure that it's not gonna damage the gasket or sit kind of funny and not cause any leaks when you get it in. So I like to put the line on the turbo, set the turbo in the car, stick it in the manifold, and then hook the other lines up once I'm on. But it's a lot easier to do it that way, and I'll show you guys here in a minute when I get ready to pull it what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go underneath, get this intercooler pipe off, hope the turbo doesn't jump out of the manifold on me, and then we'll go from there. It's not fun going after the drain gasket right here when it's in the car, so I like to get it on the turbo, get everything set, get that ready, slip it on the oil line, slip the turbo in the manifold, and then we rock. Clamp, yeah, don't want to lose that spacer. Now we're gonna pull the manifold. I'm gonna bring the camera over here and I'm gonna grab a stock wheel real quick too, because I do have one in the box. And should So here's a stock wheel, and here is the V1 wheel. So the V1 wheel looks like a stock wheel that's been clipped, but here's the new stage 4 joint. Look at the difference. So we're going down to a 9 blade from the, is this 12? So we'll do, this one's 1, 10, 11, yep, 12 blades, down to 9. The blades are twice as deep, so it should definitely free up some flow so we can try and make the jam on the top end. Because ideally that's the goal, and this is the combination that he put together to try and make this setup be as efficient as possible. So there's a little bit of difference between the V1 wheel and the V4 wheel. It's a little bit larger, not a whole lot. The blade pitch and everything might be a little different, but yeah, as far as the exhaust side goes, I mean, that's huge, guys. We're going from that to that, which is insane. This thing should flow out the top like a mother. If I want to go 135 in the quarter, I need 6,300 RPM on a 24.5-inch tire. I don't know how much the 24.5 is going to swell going down the track. Obviously that's going to change depending on how much tire pressure I have. Normally I'm anywhere between 10 and 8 depending on the track, so take that into consideration, I guess. But per the calculator, to go through the trap at 135, I need 6,300. So we're going to see what happens with that. I mean, that bigger wheel is insane. I mean, it's good. This is going to be a nice gain for sure. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start pulling the cylinder head off now. I just need to pull the balancer, or well, the alternator belt, the balancer, the covers, the support plate, loose or slack the tensioner, pull the belt off, and then pull the covers. And then all I got to do at that point is pull the valve cover, pull the cams, unbolt the head, put the head on the bench. So here we go. So this may not be the easiest to see, but the manifold I have is an aftermarket. It's an OE replacement, but it's an aftermarket. And the ports are actually bigger than the gasket itself. Amazing as that is. So what we're probably gonna do is I'm just gonna massage the mouth of the ports here to kind of gasket match, which is probably really gonna take up where it's carboned at. So once we get all that cleaned up, I'm not gonna cut in too far. I'm just gonna go after the floor a tiny bit, bell it out here at the flange, and then, put that set here so we can see a little better. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna end up doing. So you can see the carbon trace where the gasket sits. We'll taper it in as it goes in because there's a coolant jacket that runs through here and I don't want to get too close to that. I do have a picture on my phone of that somebody cut a cylinder head and showed those jackets. So we're gonna clean those guys up. Let's get to mowing some down. So the idea was to gasket match it to the edges and the top and the bottom, so the floor, the roof, and both walls. And then when you run your finger in there, you're supposed to not feel any high spots. So that was the idea, and that's why in the video you would see me sticking my finger in there and kind of feeling it. So I was going from, try and get this flashlight to hold here. The flashlight on the camera itself is actually kind of dead, so. But the idea was I'm sticking my finger way back in here and I'm pulling it back. So it just kind of tapers in and then it straightens out as it hits the port. Same thing on this side, tapers out, straightens in when it hits the port. I got it about as flat as I think I could get it for the roof without cutting into the pocket itself too much and having to worry about nicking the guide or anything like that. But I mean, I got in there and I transitioned it as best as I think I could. I mean, on that one it looks like that carbon was kind of beat up, but that's just the way the cylinder or the port was cast. So I mean, it's actually smooth, you know, side to side. There's no taper. So I mean, it's just the way the carbon laid on it as I cleaned it up. But yeah, so I mean, I could run my finger in there and it transitions pretty nicely. So I'm pretty happy with how that came out. I'm gonna get the block cleaned up. We'll get the cylinder head set on with the new gasket, get it torqued down.
All right, whew. 85 foot-pounds.
Cylinder head's ported, cylinder head's on the motor, cylinder head's torqued down. I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. We did talk with Turbobay earlier and we're gonna do a prototype V2 turbo. So it's gonna be interesting to see what we can come up with here. We're gonna play with a different compressor wheel. We're gonna use the 2.0 exhaust wheel. We're gonna see what we can get out of this guy. If it makes great power, there was a guy, I think 4 years ago, had the V1 BWS and they put 150 shot on it. And he said the car made a little over 500 horsepower and a little over 600 foot-pounds of torque. Ideally, that's pretty close to where I want to be with this one. If I could back it off to somewhere between 550 and 575 torque, that'd be all right. If I could use that big shot, pull timing out, and be able to do it that way, that would be perfect. That way, you know, we can make okay power, usable power, and then once I know I'm at a point where we got traction and I can start feeding it nitrous, we're gonna feed it. That's the hope for this stripe car here. We're getting there though, guys. I got the turbos officially off now from this car, so once this one's back together, that's the transmission that's going in the stripe car. I'm gonna change the snap ring in it. Yeah, that one's gonna get the synchro liner. This one is gonna get a different third gear snap ring. And then the other snap ring that I have is for a buddy of mine. He's bringing his transmission over, and then he's gonna end up getting this gear set here. It's a P-Works helical cut setup, so that's gonna go in his car. I'm gonna take that transmission, I'll just move it off to the side because we're gonna work on it anyway. And I'll end up taking Garrett's motor, put it on the bench here, and then I'm gonna go grab my motor. We'll get it over here, pull the head off, pull the damper off, pull the oil pump. I have billet oil pump gears I'm gonna put in that one. I don't know what's gonna happen with the nitrous, and I'd hate to shatter a pump gear and lose oil pressure, so we're gonna put the billet gears in that one. And then I'm gonna have to find a stock head. I need to find another intake cam because I'm using the exhaust cam from this car, and then I can start putting the engine together for the stripe car here. But I'm gonna get cleaned up out here, guys. I'm gonna finish my dinner, go grab a shower quick. Thanks for checking in with me today. Stay safe, stay clean, and we will see you at the track. Thanks.